Welcome to Event-Vods. Watch the full game of today's First Stand 2025 matchup.
Taken away.
So looking at picks that are still very much up and available, we already saw that the Skarner, the nerfs, not really anything to really be too worried about. I imagine for Cassandra and Abessa, it's going to just be the same. Wouldn't be surprised if they end up getting banned out early on here, as the Yone gets banned by Hanwha Life, which is a very, very clear sign of respect towards Cream, because let's be honest, we all know that Zeka absolutely loves playing the champion as well.
Yep. Zeka's played it. It's also second most played for Zeka. Cream's only played it twice, but obviously an incredible mid laner, could get a lot of work done with it. And when Galio's taken away, right, who's a decent option with the taunt, don't want to let that through, is Jace. Again, just a lot of priority solo lane picks just being deleted.
The Rumble, I think, has to follow as well. One of the few like soft counters that we do see towards the Rumble, as it does get taken away, is the Galio specifically, right? So I think that TES also knew if we ban the Galio, most likely that's going to come through. Wondering if they want to be looking towards something like a Sylas as well. We've seen that Sylas Galio a lot. My opinion, the coolest game that we had last year at Worlds.
Delight's Alistair's already gone, so it's a little bit easier to pick Sylas without being scared of...
Now, bot lane matchup is another, as the Gnar, another ban towards Zeus. Both his Jace and Gnar are probably his best champions. Aatrox has joined that lineup recently.
Gnar off the board too. I think your Sylas read is getting better and better.
I do think it's likely, yeah, because it obviously have to wait towards a little bit deeper into the draft. I think Varus, Ashe are the two other picks, as the ambassadors get taken away. So Cassante, Varus, Ashe. Kalista is open. So is Poppy. But the fact that Kalista is open, like that is a first in a long time.
Are the Poppy nerfs enough to stop Delight from playing Poppy? That is the big question for me of this tournament.
Into Kalista, I would say no.
Into Kalista, probably you're right. So Kalista, first pick.
Oh my god, Jackie love Kalista?
This was supposed to be a tournament permaban. If it does not win a game, I think it's going to make people reevaluate a lot of priorities here.
Whew. No lane swaps?
Lane swaps. Kalista, first pick.
Whew. Well, we'll see if they go for
Poppy?
a preemptive takeaway of something like the Renata. Poppy is the other pick that I do think, interestingly enough, even though I think bot lane matchup will still be quite rough, I'm wondering if we're going to see the Poppy just go towards Peanut, because he was the big Poppy guy for a large part of 2023. Had great performances on that after kind of getting schooled by BLG at MSI. Started prioritizing it more himself, did really, really well. The Varus, nothing too crazy, although Viper is, as far as I'm concerned, the best lethality Varus that we have within the LCK. Has had some absolutely insane damage numbers on a pick that normally doesn't quite feel as explosive once we get to the later stage of the game. There is the Peanut Nidalee. That once upon a time we saw this and we would go, oh, I don't know about that one, Peanut. But in recent times, team has played around it really well. Does mean that we need to see an 80 pick slammed down here for Zeka on free, because otherwise I think those are going to get taken away. It's going to make the game really hard to play out.
It's always nerve-wracking when you see a Nidalee locked on the opposite side. Very feast or famine champion, and there's so many excellent combos that pair with it. Any form of hard CC to set up for the spear connecting. Renekton, obviously the classic, but giving up the 2v2 bottom lane powerhouse. I think this is probably the strongest 2v2 you could possibly pick in this current meta. See how HLE want to respond. Renata, you can counterpick Renata with a ranged option, but this champion is just so much work.
I'm wondering if Delight would be willing to go towards something like the Nico, as there is the Gragas to come through here. And that is, that's kind of crazy. Blind Gragas is not something we see often. You do have safeguarded it with the Narban. That's traditionally the matchup that just feels unplayable. Don't really want to opt into that one. Does mean that Zeus might be looking. So there is actually, this is a tough decision here for Hanwha Life, 100%. I think. It's going to be the Poppy, and that theoretically could also go to Zeus, because as you mentioned, the changes were specifically to the support Poppy, not the top and jungle Poppy. Changes that they made were in an attempt to make that feel a little bit more on par.
Yeah, she loses 20 damage if she E's someone and they hit a wall at level 1, which is a very big amount of damage in the context of an all-in. It probably means we're less likely to see things like the Hail of Blades Poppy. I don't think it means Poppy's out of the meta at all, but she's definitely weaker when it comes to early kill pressure. Still will bring that utility, and you highlighted this well. Technically, this Poppy is a flex. We could see where it goes, but because the Gragas is locked in so early, you kind of have an option now on the top side. If you can guess the Poppy's going bot lane, I think it's more likely top lane. This is where you could ban those 80 mid laners away, knowing it's kind of mandatory for the side of HLE.
Yeah, read from TES is that this is still going to be the Poppy support as the K'Sante gets taken away, so not reading too much into it just yet. The Light does have a slew of champions that he could pick up in a scenario where he doesn't want to go towards the Poppy. That I think could be good into Renata. Nico is, I think, the most crazy one that we have mentioned before because that matchup makes Renata's life very miserable. Viego, respect paid towards Kanavi there. 4 games played, and definitely something that when you already have arguably the strongest early game skirmish champion in the game, and then you also have Renata.
And that's the Nico ban that you
there
talked
it is,
about, right?
The Viego takeaway definitely makes a ton of sense. I love the respect ban as well. I think that's 100% the right call.
I also just think if you're gonna draft an early 2v2 lane and don't give away a counter pick that could jeopardize your entire lane, right? Like you need to spend bans to secure that. The debate now, though, and this is the struggle, we saw K'Sante ban, so clearly respect paid this top E.
I'm also
could go bot lane. I still think this Poppy's a flex.
I'm also wondering, okay, so I was wondering what Hanwha Live's read was, because this Gragas can theoretically still be flexed, right? Like, we're going to assume that this is going to go towards 369, but there is still potential for that to go elsewhere.
We're deep on the theoretical flexes. I'm like, this Poppy, you're like, this Gragas.
I mean...
Poppy at least now is committed to support, sort of a Poppy mid lane, which I'm really praying we're not going to get, but you never know.
I don't want to...
Don't even entertain it. No, don't even...
You know I will.
I know.
As the Nocturne does come through, makes a ton of sense, I think, with this composition. Also makes the life of Gragas a lot easier. And that Nocturne Orianna combo, I think, really complements the composition as a whole. The amount of AoE CC that they have just with the Gragas Cask and the Aureoles is really tough. One of the biggest issues that I do think you sometimes have with Gragas is finding impact in team fights. If you can't get onto the enemy team, particularly with a Poppy, Nocturne makes that so much easier, and the setup of that combo is there. As what is Zeka gonna play as?
Okay! Look, you see the composition locked in. Galio is off the board. You don't have to worry about that taunt. I think the Cask still makes things tough.
Okay,
the Nocturne point and click.
Like, I am hyped to see Zeka on Akali, or anyone that watched 2022. Is it good? Do you look at this composition of Hanwha Live and go, man, that looks like it works well together?
No, I don't. But I look at Zeka Akali, and I put the blinders on like I'm a horse racing down the street, and I say, I like what I'm seeing.
You have Nidalee Akali mid 2v2.
Nidalee Akali Aatrox. Your only setup CC for Nidalee is bot lane.
Well, okay, but Zeus doesn't miss Q, so I guess you have some setup. But even then, like, I'm not... I think TES are going to be very happy with this.
HLE are cooking. That much we can say. What they have cooked will be a different discussion. So bot lane 2v2 powerhouse from TES. They've got good disengage options in the Renata and the Gragas, and they have a Wombo combo in form of the Orianna Nocturne, but they don't necessarily have the best follow-up to the Orianna Nocturne. It's just because Gragas Cask is awkward. I think it's still some good burst damage. So how, if you're on the side of HLE, I think bot lane 2v2 is going to be rough early.
I think it's also so hard to like play a good Akali game into both Renata and Gragas.
Also, like, Nocturne just spell shields a spear in the jungle 1v1. His clear speed's still pretty fast. I mean, you're not gonna probably not going to outclear Nidalee, but maybe a lot of pressure on Peanut to, like, do something early game.
Which he will. Like, he will. Again, I was the
He's
biggest...
the nut god.
He is. I was the biggest doubter of Peanut. That said, I think this TES composition for me really hits the mark. Good bans, a lot of respect being paid, very cohesive, incredible amount of skirmishing, great snowball potential.
Certainly think so as well. Here we are, game 2.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
It would seem that there are more Hanwha Life fans in the house.
Yeah, and
geographically does make a lot of sense.
So this is a caster classic is also getting pranked and thinking that the team that you're sitting amidst of is louder. That doesn't even apply here.
Oh.
Home town advantage obviously coming up huge there as I was actually wondering what Zeus was going to go for. Grasp Aatrox. Like, he's mainly been playing Electrocute. Have not seen that in a long time.
Because usually how this lane works, right, is like Gragas just gets free trades because he can just body slam auto and then
especially
just
with phase rush.
Phase rush, yeah. I guess Zeus thinks he can just umbral dash back and get the proc. At the very least wants to be tanked here. A little bit more sustain in that tree as well as Zeka starting level 1 with the Shuriken flip. Quick proc on that Electrocute.
Yeah, even with the Aerie, not quite going to be feeling good about that trade. Zeka,
bot side.
Ooh, very early invade to come through here, and that is particularly into something like the Nocturne always going to be feeling good. The main question is, can Zeka actually secure mid lane prio, and can Zeus? Because if the solo lanes get prio early on here, it will make Kanavi's life a lot harder. Even if you take away only like 1 or 2 camps, you get so much value, because we do see the bot lane actually rotate over. A single buff, particularly like takes away a good amount of time where Kanavi's just not going to have access to his ultimate. So I think this is a really big win here for Hanwha Life.
And I think Hanwha Life would have been happy to split the map so that the bot lane 2v2 is isolated. And they've kind of achieved that because there's just less for Nocturne to get here. If Kanavi goes down to those Krugs, his jungle leader is going to be so slow compared to that. If Peanut Delight wants to go in, doesn't quite connect on the wall, has the Aftershock for extra tankiness, but the initial damage really not there. Crisp taking the worst end of the trade. The level 2, while it does go in favor of HLE, isn't super effective.
It's very telling that, so because Jackie Love and Crisp walked away, right, like they went out of the lane to make sure that Peanut didn't get more, they were a level down, and Viper and the Light was still like, no, not walking up. As we do have Kanavi. You're not going to see this one coming. That's a Nocturne.
This is a psycho play, though. They're going to full commit the flash forward. The handshake doesn't hit. Kanavi level 3 on the way and flash forward with the fear. Wants to lock up Viper. Gets pushed back into the tower. Oh, that's a disaster. First blood. He bet everything on that play. He put himself so far behind, and it's not going to pay off.
He might even get his topside invaded.
Yeah. There was no
topside prio. Kanavi.
I mean, the thing is, HLE tried to split map. They said, we are going to split the map on you. Kanavi said, not today, boys. But now he's just paying the ultimate price.
So, at least he doesn't get invaded yet. I don't know, man. Like, against Poppy, I think he could have just taken the sums and go.
But it's not even just Poppy. Like,
oh, I know!
You don't have any reliable hard CC. Flash in fear under tower is not a real thing. Oh, no. He's going to get one, but now they're chasing him down. Now they really want to punish him.
He doesn't have flash.
Light still has flash. Spell shield there. Will walk away at the very least, but this is miserable for Kanavi because the whole knock. Now Viper's the one paying the price, though. On the bottom side, they isolate. They try to push the advantage more. Chris hoping to get the reset. They get the reset indeed, and TES, at the very least, find the follow-up dive.
As the game felt like it was on the verge of, at least for Kanavi, crumbling away, Jackie Love and Crisp come up huge. And this makes us wonder again, why is Kalista in this game? As we take another look at this play. And I don't know.
Shout out to Light. Q's first.
To make sure that the spell shield
is gone
and then gets the slam back. But love this from... Because you know for a fact, because the topside invaded, there is absolutely zero chance of you being at risk. And then very nicely done, Crisp is the one that does aggro, has the guaranteed bailout, and with Jackie Love, just being able to stack spears freely, thank you very much, always going to be able to get it done. And that means that Viper is put monstrously far behind. And all of a sudden, I know that Hanwha Life is ahead on gold, and I think that Kanavi's game is not going to be very fun, but that is Jackie Love with an incredible lead over his opponent.
And with the swap, 369 is going to be really comfortable here on the bottom side at least. Hard for Delight to 100% threaten the dive. Easy for 369 to clear these waves. Checking back in on mid lane. Zeka at least able to push back and forth now. Level 5, 3 points. And the 5-point strike, that Q, making things a bit easier. Once he gets 6, kill pressure comes online, but Kanavi is still the biggest loser in the context of this game, as he's pretty far behind in terms of camps. 27-36 the CS score, level 4 to level 5 of Peanut.
Zeka playing his own skin, that's always a nice flex. He's winning the early game, which I think the big thing with the Akali is that late game in side lane, like Orianna can't ever walk up, right? Even with a Nocturne, it's just so it really is, yeah. That's the worst gank when you know the gank can't work, but you still have to respect.
And look, Delight leaving might have gotten his AD killed, but he has done a lot of work in the context of this early game. He saved him once, left him once. Kanavi the one who's just going to suffer. He can't really walk into his own jungle. Mid lane push is coming through. And this is the adaptability of HLE that makes them so scary, right? Is that they have so many carry threats on the team. Even when Viper is struggling on the Varus, other members of the team just step up and fill in the gaps.
Jackie is here, though. I want to look to contest. Peanut did smite the first one, so it doesn't have an angle. Zeka
on the flank. Level 6 is there. Jackie Love might be in trouble. Trying to lock him down. Steadfast presence as well. Jackie Love about to get taken out. The reset won't come through as Peanut flashes to safety. Now Cream is here. Level 6. Shockwave. Not going to get used. Dash out as Peanut, low health bar, has to be careful here. Kanavi going to wander in and smite a grub. extended play.
Yeah,
Cream still with ulti.
Health bars are low, I think.
Level 5
Life.
for Kanavi.
I want to just peace out, and it looks like it is going to be the case. Peanut maybe trying to look for a
Zeus
spear.
really confident here. Is going to get locked up by Kanavi. The shuriken flip connects from Zeka. Void Grubs will go down. Split,
Yeah,
though.
pretty sure he could have held onto your flash there, Zeus.
He could have eat over the wall, but he really wanted to stick around. Zeka now getting frisky.
But it was never going to be the full grubs, because Kanavi already found one. That is actually a big deal. Obviously, getting 2 is nice, but like just the 1, get a ton of experience from that, meaning that Kanavi's going to be feeling a lot less bad about how this early game played out. Jackie getting taken down obviously is rough, and this Akali getting accelerated is bad news.
Yes.
For TES.
But that's a massive CS lead for Jackie Love.
Yeah. Oh no, and I don't think that's going to go anywhere anytime soon. Viper also investing a lot of early money into his tier. Also went for Comet build, and like Halo Blades is like, oh, you know, I want to trade at least a little. Comet build is just saying I'm not ever walking
I mean, you
up.
weren't.
Well,
you're not walking up
You're
in
playing
the
into
Poppy Loris
Kalista.
2v2.
Yeah,
You're not. You are operating at arm's reach. If Kalissa's on top of you, you've already lost the fight. That said, Zeka, big point, moving ahead, and you can see why in the context of this fight. All resources used to take Jackie Love out of the equation.
Yeah, he's still playing Poppy into, Kalista into Poppy, unfortunately. So doesn't really get to play the game as...
And I mean, good flash from Peanut to not die there, to make sure the reset didn't come through, as now it's Zeus who's in trouble. The fear goes down, the damage fall isn't quite there. That Null Magic Mantle really paying off. Doran shield start as well. Zeus, very conservative options, but working out as he's pretty damn tanky.
Yeah, Tunneler gives you a ton of stats. Feeling good as just walks back in. Does have his cookies as he's just going ham again. He does have his ultimate, but I feel like at any point TES can just walk away, so they decide not to push it further. Towards the top
Viper
side of
able
the
to get
map.
the wave in at least. Overall, much more even mid-game. A lot of messy kind of early exchanges. HLE holding onto a bit of a gold lead.
Something that does remain an issue, though, particularly now that Crisp has hit 6, is that Renata counters so much of what Hanwha Life is going to try to do. Because both for Zeka and Zeus, their entire existence is reliant on, in Zeka's case, can I assassinate someone on the back line? Ideally, obviously, Jackie Love, but even Cream would be great. And then for Zeus, can I get my resets? And Renata just does so much. It stalls, the heal's there, and the ultimate is the obvious one that is just going to make your life so much harder. So it's kind of similar to the last game, where if we are just front to backing, I think it's really hard for Hanwha Life to reliably find an angle as Delight on a flank.
Delight fishing for that flank. Objective likely to fall in favor of TES as no one is here, but now they're moving up. Seeing the TP on the bottom side. Push back. Zeus into the midst of the entire team, immediately going to Delight trying to buy a bit more space. The damage is there on Zeus though. Extra healing coming in, but it's not enough. Jackie Love taking one. Body slam flash from 369. Shuriken flip out. Alongside the ulti means Zeka will walk away, but the dragon into the pick. A nice look for TES.
A lot invested for TES, but big payout as well. They get the dragon. They're able to also get the kill onto Zeus. Jackie getting put even further ahead of his counterpart, but that is a heavy investment, right? That's TP being used, as well as 4 flashes being invested there. On the flip side, Zeka also went for his TP, wasn't able to find anything there in that fight either, just used his ultimate to disengage. And the gold lead, back where we want it. Dracos, which is just even. Just even.
Till 70 or 80 minutes of game.
Which has
I
been...
don't ever want this game to end.
Yeah, no, it's great as 369 just completely catching Zeus off guard here, right? Zeus knows that 369 is there, still chooses to walk up, just gets knocked into the team, and you see an initial attempt from Hanwha Life. Unfortunately, Crisp not quite hitting the mark there, was looking for the handshake so that you get the kill on Zeka as well. But Hanwha Life, I think, making the right choice to disengage as soon as Zeus just gets thrown into multiple people. And now, again, using this great source of strength, Jackie Love on the Kalista, drops are being set up here. I don't know if Peanut can even look for a steal here. Getting into that pit is going to be very tough.
We don't even have a first major item completion for any carry on the Rift. We're 11 minutes in.
Oh!
Now the steal, though.
Caught him off guard. So that's 4-2. That's very... That's also spread, so like no one...
Also denies,
gets...
it denies the second stack towards the 3 objective.
Yeah.
Which is certainly nice to have.
Yeah.
Especially given how... I mean, normally it's pretty impossible. It's not actually impossible, but very difficult to steal objectives away from a Kalista. And at this point of the game, I think I just want to call back to what you said earlier. It is going to be tough for HLE to play out any kind of front to back. Because again, you have the Gragas cast, which we saw how quickly it can disrupt. Nocturne can just turn the lights off. It doesn't even have to be the Orianna combo, which will make things more difficult. And Renata can always bail out at least one member of the team. So if Zeka or Zeus die in the process of trying to dive backline, it will really not be for anything.
No. And for Viper, this game is going to be so hard to play because you basically have to flash if Kanavi ults on top of you, right? Because of the Orianna combo. But if you don't have flash, what do you think is going to happen when 369 finds you? Like, you're an 80 carry without any real form of escape. It's just going to have to be your movement speed, which is go Ghost Blade early on, so that's at least something.
Yep. Swifty's likely to follow too, but the 1v1 really starting to look easy for Zeus. 369 has the cast back, so at least we'll be able to walk away in the isolated 1v1. But this, of course, is the other thing we have to mention, is that Zeus lived for quite some time with no items. And eventually he'll have one item, and then a second item. And anyone who's watched the LCK remembers how good Zeus is at this pick, because you might also remember Zeka as he goes all in on Cream on the bottom side. Follow up there from Peanut, zoning Cream back to the HLE side of the map. Shockwave, but not going to do much. Tries to get some damage down. Ultimately, Zeka just going to grab that, claim the feat of Warfare in favor of HLE.
Kanavi was in the area, but I think by the time that he actually got close enough, if he even did, the range on old level 1 really isn't that big. It's not until you get further in that it starts to feel really oppressive. Cream was basically already at like 10% HP, so even if he does go in, I don't think that salvages the play. As we are looking on this Akali.
All to the bot side of the map. Level 8 for Kanavi. Zeka going to be forced to flee. Running him down.
Does a flash. The Jackie Love's there.
Zeka trying to get out. Flash away to safety. Initial damage comes in. Trying to get out. Goes invisible! There's just nothing you can do. That's a heartbreaker for TES. Credit to Zeka. He waited as long as possible to flash. And now Peanut's on the chase at the top side of the map. Delight can stop the Gragas from getting away. But 369, again, great use of the cask to walk out as Viper trying to find the snipe.
He's hunting.
Powered Q I don't think will finish him, but it will set up for the dive as Zeus trying to hold the line here. Does not want to give up this tower. Rain of arrows.
On the wave.
369 zooming out.
Got the flash.
Gets the flash as well. Body slam flash takes him to safety. Zeus still holding on to the tower for now. And Zeka here too. If they try to commit for a dive, it could get messy fast.
Zeus is ult. I think they can just kill the turret though.
Him on the way down, but Zeka wants to fight for it.
There it is.
It might cost him though. The chase now coming in. Spell shield there. The fear waiting. The handshake comes out. Now he's been taunted. He's starting to hit Zeus. Zeka in trouble. And the fight's going to keep going. Jackie Love can just dance around Zeus. But can he find the Q3? The flash. Jackie Love cannot do it. He zooms out. World Ender to safety. Chris praying for the handshake, but he does not find it. And that's just a Zeus diff right there.
These two teams are just skill checking each other time after time. Zeka going in there is like, Zeus, we can outplay this. He gives his life. And I gotta say, I think he could have also just backed off as Kanavi.
Staying way too long. Peanut on the hunt now. Turns the lights out, gets the healing. It's not enough.
Mayhem! Mayhem, Dracos!
There are a lot of ways we could describe what just happened, but Mayhem is the most appropriate. MasterCard lane economy snapshot. Bit of a mid diff, bit of a bot diff. Otherwise, yeah. Zeus Aatrox hits a little diffy. I didn't think, like, new Kalista feels so good after the changes. It feels like you can glide away from anything.
Yeah.
Apparently not Aatrox.
Yeah. Zeus has been having a very, very troubled history of this champion as well, right? Obviously losing to it in 2022, and it kind of made it his job to master it. As we take another look here, because this all seems the first TES. Look at the amount of CC that comes down onto Zeka, right? Kanavi baits him in, gets the fear, then the ultimate, and there is just nothing Zeka can do. But crucially, Jackie Love flies just a little bit too close to the sun as Zeus. He just doesn't miss these sweet spots. Ends up taking that, and then this is just, I don't know, Kanavi.
Let's all just take a breath and be honest with ourselves. That was a terrible play from Zeka. Like, Zeus,
no, I know!
Zeus
he's just going in!
Like, Zeus
first!
The tower was gone. There was nothing to be claimed. And then Zeus just hands dipped. So I do want to call out that while I appreciate that Zeka is so strong, he needs to chill a little bit. He needs to just leave. He just needs to calm down. You can just walk away.
Leave.
You don't have to just go forward, okay? I'm not an LEC anymore. I'm not casting Fnatic. You're allowed to back up. You're allowed to leave.
That's
fair. That's
what are these
right. They don't deserve that. My region is sad enough today. I don't need to drag more teams down. TES, happy to have that play despite losing a kill, because setup control is here. Herald will fall.
Oh, we do have Zeka on the flank. I think maybe learning from his mistakes.
Ooh, goes in the Shroud. Has to stay here until the ulti expires. Trying to get tricky with it. Dashes through. Shockwave there. Zeka gonna get taken down. Wants to take Cream with him, but the damage not quite there. Will fall. Good patience in the Shroud does mean that the rest of his team can respond with a mid lane tower. They'll lose the life and the Herald in the process.
Now when you have a player in your game that's clearly a smurf and then he just starts doing stuff that he definitely shouldn't. That's kind of how I feel about like these consecutive plays. Like, I can flank!
The problem
I can
is,
go in!
the Zeka Copers have an angle on both plays. The first play was Zeus outplayed. The second play is they got a turret mid, and they're going to get a tower bot as well. And now 369 may have overcommitted. Ulti connecting. Cass pushing Viper back. And he's trying to zoom out to safety, but Peanut's on the hunt. Kanavi there to interrupt. Wants to flash in. Goes forward to the blast cone, the body slam, and Peanut's out of there.
That's the nut god right there! Gets his kill on the Nidalee. And it makes sense. If you're at Gregs, you feel so safe. You have so much safety with your body slam, with your ultimate, as we can clearly see the rest of Hanwha Life backing off. I'm not giving you cope on this one.
But they have Prio mid and they get Prio bot. So this ends up being not a good play, but a good death, is what I will say. It takes 4 people.
You've been watching scrims for a certain team.
The Rotonies.
As we take another look here, 369, even without a turret again, I think you, as Gragas, often get yourself in the situation because you have so much innate safety. But Peanut just chases through. Kanavi, unfortunately, cannot get over walls by his biggest enemies unless he has his ultimate available. So Peanut just gets out. Does have to invest his flash for that, whereas 369 doesn't really give anything up. But Nidalee getting further ahead, I think, is always going to feel nice. But look at the gold lead. Like, this is nothing. It's 2K. It doesn't.
Let's just take a brief moment to breathe before Zeka inevitably ults forward again. Like, gold is dead even. Herald about to come in mid lane and crash. Things are pretty close, but second item's now completed for Jackie. He's going to be a terror. It's the same story for Viper. As the siege starts in the mid lane.
I think Zeka's going to deep TP. Oh my god.
The man knows one way, and it is forward. Zeka on the flank, and he can find these kills. 1.5 items completed.
Oh god!
Ulti ready to go. Lights turned out. Cream trying to disengage. Beautiful ulti from Viper. The ball coming in from Delight. Jackie Love isolated by Zeka crucially. Viper going with the wall, but Kanavi finding the 1v1 versus Viper. About to take Viper down. Zeka trying to finish the kill on Jackie, but Jackie's still standing. This is a struggle with the dive, but it's the ult down from Delight. Jackie's still going. Jackie flashing out. Zeus' ulti expiring. It's a bloodbath. Back and forth. Kanavi taking out Viper solo. Cream falling, but it's only the 1-for-1.
Bit of a letdown there. Thought a lot more was going to happen. As the aggressive TP, a lot of summoners invested, and I do think that Hanwha Life is going to take. They got what, 4 flashes throughout that whole sequence. The attempt to turn onto Zeus, he sidesteps, doesn't get hit by the knock-up, and then here the crucial thing is that you know that it's really hard for Zeka to actually burst down Jackie Love here. So you see, plays it slow, waits the bailout out, but Crisp gets so much value from the ultimate because it also denies Zeus and Peanut to further follow up, which is why Jackie gets off. Really nicely done there with the body slam there from 369, ensuring that they can't quite follow up, because otherwise I think Peanut might have claimed another. Zeus, just checking. You know, just every now and then we do a little cue forward.
I mean, level 13,
still paying attention.
You got some ability haste. You're feeling good on Aatrox. Just Q spam now.
Viper has gone for the I don't get to play the game build, Edge of Night, as well as Ghostblade.
And based on the previous team fight, he would be correct. He does not get to play the game. Yeah. He did buy some time getting Kanavi out of the fight. He did eat the ultimate.
What is big, though, we haven't actually seen the combo of this Nocturne. The reason why you pick this is because when you are the aggressor, it 100% forces summoners out.
But I think the problem is,
well, you can't do it on an Akali.
The side lane threat like Zeus and Zeka are just going to be better on side, which is one problem that TS have to solve. But also, if you're too eager with the combo on Viper, you just die to the Aatrox Akali.
It's tough.
Cream kind of has to protect himself. He has to be a little bit of a selfish Orianna here, or protect Jackie at the very least.
Has now 2 objectives up towards the bot side of the map. Big gold leads there, and
yeah. I mean,
Jackie Love 1.6, Zeus basically on the same level.
The light potentially caught here. Nice backstep. Shuriken flip still hitting from Zeka, and that's his cue to start things off. Gets a huge chunk out of Cream. Luckily, the Honey Fruit are there to heal him back up, or that could have been bad. Spear's also landing. This is a really nice way for HLE to start potentially contesting this Drake, just chunking out the health bars.
We haven't talked that much about the poke, and I think that engage is there just because of the ult combo and the fact that 369 is a big threat. But if they just get to sit there and basically serve them up to Zeka with these Qs from both Nidalee,
Delay.
the Varus, and there we go, another!
Is Kanavi ready for this one? Ulti knocks him out of the pit. Jackie Love now running. Peanut needs to get in and smite this, but there's still so many spears. 400 HP, they managed to take it. Dragon down, Cloud for the side of HLE. TES close to the Otacon, but don't have great setup.
We didn't want to get more. They did it. It's Hanwha Life. They TP'd Zeus in. They're not getting away with just the Dragon.
Zeus off to the side. Fear is there. Huge damage coming in for Zeus. They use the Shockwave as well, trying to lock him down. Zeus doesn't quite make it over the wall with the flash. Does Umbral Dash over in the end.
And that will be all. Flash used there by Zeus. Again, a flash that he definitely didn't have to go for, but I think Hanwha Life thought price in because of the fact that they TP'd. As, a potential trap being set here. Zeka, he uses his Shroud, but
he's out.
Not gonna walk forward, as he shouldn't, as 369's like, are you paying attention? And he was.
Yeah, you give him a little shop check. You never know. Look, if there's one thing that I've learned...
Look at the gold, Dracos.
Dead even. 1K difference. What a gift. All I'm saying is there's one thing I know. I thought Poppy nerfs would be a bigger deal, but I don't think you can nerf Delight Poppy. This guy is so annoying. Like, he left bot lane, and yes, it did cost Viper his life because TES executed that beautiful dive, but this man has just been interrupting plays left and right. The knockback on that Drake, it's so frustrating for the side of TES. We're 23 minutes in, and no one has gotten feats yet.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah. But now the objective is, it's 2-2. So the next objective gets feats, no matter what.
All right, item spikes. We have Cleaver done. Stopwatch as well. Zeus had Sterix, but or got Sterix, but already had that in the last exchange. Other players might not have lived towards that with that bot side play towards the map. And you can see Hanwha Life. Someone's always looking for a flank.
Watch out onto 369. Flash trying to get to safety, but a lot of cooldowns burned as HLE smell blood in the water. Spear onto Jackie Love, bit of poke. Ulti in, the combo there, but it's only going to hit Delight the flash back, what you called out earlier. Now Kanavi the one in trouble in the meat grinder. Zeus sidestep on the ulti. Reset coming through, but no one is going to drop. Shut down there. HLE deleting TES. They bait the cooldowns. They force the fight. Domination in the mid lane.
The game is dead even, and then they get a 5-0. How does it happen 2 times in a row?
They're just built iffy. I mean, good flash from Viper, but you can see for TES, the combo is solid, but if it whiffs, the follow-up from HLE is so disgustingly strong.
That's Otacon gone. A lot of gold gonna go into the pockets of Hanwha Life.
Did we capture curse this? They just went from dead even to 3K gold lead. I said no one has feats. They're just about to grab feats.
I don't think we need to involve ourselves in this. I think we gotta.
You're right. Leave it to the pros.
As we take it on, it's again these proactive flank setups that come from Hanwha Life. Last time it was Zeka in the same spot. This time it's Zeus, and then there is finally the inevitable turn, but literally only hits the light. As you point out, nice flash there. Viper pays the respect that he needs to, and then once Zeka TP's in the midst of this, you know it's just immediately over. 2-man knock-up as well coming through there from the light. Jackie Love doesn't get to play the game.
None of their major cooldowns did any damage. That was the struggle, right? Like, Shockwave wasn't effective because of the flash. Nocturnal ulti just didn't do enough.
He didn't even get, like, the normal value for Nocturnal.
They were forced to Renata ult to disengage because 369 isn't it. Like, and it all goes back to 369 getting caught, admittedly. But once this team starts to lose a fight, it's just so hard to come back.
I think they were out, though. Like, they just saw an opportunity. And this is, I think, the one issue that you do have as school.
Here. Zeka back out. I mean, it highlights back to the earlier issue we talked about, which is Viper is not the only carry on this team, and he's not even the traditional crit scaling hyper carry, right? So one-shotting him, even if it was successful, doesn't guarantee you the fight if Jackie Love is constantly under threat from this Aatrox, from this Akali.
And I want you to think back to the hole that Viper was in.
Yeah.
And now look at this total gold graph.
He's 2 levels up. He was 30 CS down, like 5 minutes into the game. He was dove 2v1.
Plays a great scaling lethality Aatrox.
What?
I'm not joking. Seen this happen multiple times over the last couple of years, and Viper did come in with, as mentioned, I think a bit of an up-and-down performance.
Scaling lethality Varus?
Yeah.
Oh, you said Aatrox, and I got really flustered because I thought I had said Zeus on accident.
No, I'm definitely wrong on that one.
Okay. I was like, one of us is trolling, and I was almost afraid to ask.
Zeus also does play
a great scaling lethality Aatrox. Scaling lethality champions, not normally, they don't go together, but on HLE, apparently the answer is they do. For TES, like, look, you still have good disengage. There's still an opportunity to fight front to back. I think it's hard because Kallista's strongest point in the game relative to other carries is like 2 items, right?
Yeah. So for TES, I think now you're looking towards either a unexpected engage from 369, right? Like knocking everyone out of the team fight, or a multi-man combo. Maybe, as you point out, you do just let go of needing to combo that Nocturne and the Orianna and just use the Nocturne ult to then have a Orianna ult that basically isn't counterable because of the vision denial that it provides. But I do think they're going to need the help of something like a Baron, right? Like we're talking any further addition to the damage, because if they don't have that, Otacon obviously they didn't get an opportunity to try and fight with the debuff up. That's always a great way to get back into a game, because it's either that or Hanwha Life funnel like into a choke, and then obviously you get crazy value out of really anyone on TES. But I don't see Hanwha Life doing that realistically with how they've been playing out the game thus far. And I think TES, they're just looking for the one pick that can create a tempo lead, because I think the team fighting power is still there with this composition, actually executing on it when Hanwha Life have now actually built a sizable gold in one dragon away from a Cloud Soul. It's going to be easier said than done.
And this has been a tough series so far, especially for the TES solo laners, right? Game 1, 369 did not have a great game. Game 2, I think his lane was fine, right? It fell out of his hands due to other reasons, but you can see the massive gold difference. JackeyLove, the sole strong point on the map, 2K difference in mid lane. Despite the amount of times that Zeka has stepped forward for maybe not the best reason, is how I'll phrase it for now. And Cream has just been woefully behind. He just hit 2 items. There are 2 needlessly large rods for Zeka on his way to his 3rd, on his way to that death cap. Cool, ulti.
They can just do this. Like the cooldown is basically nothing.
Another Q gonna connect. Knock up there. Nocturne now going in, trying to catch out Viper, but will it be enough? They can't finish the kill again. The option does not work. Chris trying to find the disengage. Zeka still standing. Zeka trying to make his way out. JackeyLove needs a kill for the reset. He cannot find it. He will not be bailed out. And now Zeus is on the hunt, looking to end the dreams of TES in this first series. The cask is there for 369, but it is too little. It is too late. HLE don't have a wave, but they can take whatever they want.
And TES, a final Hail Mary, not going the way that they were hoping to. Hanwha Life is ready yet again, even though Viper gets caught, he's just completely out of range. JackeyLove desperately tries to salvage the game, might as well. If you don't turn around that fight and the Baron falls, the game is done nonetheless, and I think that 6th game, the 3rd game in this series, seems further away than ever, Dracos.
That it does. The windows of opportunity for TES are closed. They're going to have to break them open if they want to find a way back. Because again, you can see the start of this fight, so much CC layered beautifully, but that combo, what you highlighted, there's no follow-up.
369, like, body slam Zeus doesn't actually get to play. JackeyLove right there, if he gets the reset, maybe him and Crisp can pop off, take down Viper, who obviously didn't have his flash. It was a desperate play, but at that point, nothing else remained. TES?
I mean, it's level 14 Orianna to level 17 Akali. I think it's just unplayable.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't. It would take a miracle. And that miracle might be Zeka going way too far forward, but the rest of the HLE is now here to follow up. Forcing the ulti out, fall up there. Zeka giving his life in the exchange. A little too eager. Delight going back over the wall alongside Kanavi. Peanut now going to follow, but it's Zeus who's isolated. 3 members collapsing on him. Looking to trade one back as Kanavi will finally go down. Zeus living for a damn long time. Trying to find that kill back onto JackeyLove. Death Stance is there. Viper on a rampage. And Zeus refusing to die. This man's Aatrox is untouchable. Double coming through. HLE looking to finish it with a clean 2-0.
And JackeyLove, he keeps stacking spears, but it's just not doing enough. Zeus stands tall. Zeka definitely made some aggressive decisions in this game, but guess what? If the Nexus falls, get away with it, and a 2-0 here for Hanwha Life, cementing themselves again